What's up, guys? So, here at lunch, and I was talking to a friend, and talking about my favorite sports, and, you get in this kind of conversation. They talk about it like, oh, that's so violent, like, I could never play that. I would never want to play that. I don't like watching you play that, or that kind of thing. And it's just like, what do you think is violence? And if you think, something's violent, does that mean it's evil, right? Because then it's kind of like, that's wrong to be playing that sport. And so it got me thinking a little bit. And another guy I was talking to was talking about punishment and like, violence is good, because to get your kids in line, you gotta be violent sometimes. And it's kind of like, that just sounds wrong, that's what child abuse is. But at the same time, you need to punish your kids when they do something wrong, You can't just raise little spoiled brats that, never been disciplined, always do whatever they want, and don't know what they want, and just do whatever feels nice. I mean, it's not about that. So what's the deal here with violence? Alright, I'm going to try to break it down for y'all because it's kind of important. Okay, well, when is violence evil and when is it not? Is the violence evil? Yeah, violence is evil. But it depends, because if you have the wrong definition, violence isn't always evil. But if you have the right definition, violence is always evil. Alright, so we're talking about, like, hitting your kid, okay? There's kind of like a measure here. If you hit your kid and like knock him out or something, that's always evil. That's always violence. Okay, why? Man. Alright, when something's evil, it's not evil because someone said it was. It's evil because of what actually happened. So, let's get beyond the physical stuff here right now, alright? So say the guy, slaps the kid, okay? That can be good, that can be evil. Why? It's good if you're slapping the kid because he did something wrong and you're trying to teach him what's right. Now that doesn't end with slapping the kid. You don't just slap the kid when he does something wrong and walk away. You explain to him that was wrong, you're hurting that person, and you're making yourself a worse person. So here, obviously, the intention matters. If you have a good intention, it's a good thing. But that's not it. I don't care how good your intention is. If you knock your kid out, that's wrong. There's like a limit here. There's sort of boundaries within the physical stuff. If you hurt the kid, a little bit, there's a certain amount that's okay. Because if you're trying to punish the kid, spanking the kid, whatever. But then there's an extreme, and I think everyone knows what it is. You don't hit kids with bottles, and you don't do permanent damage. Like a scar on the skin, that's not really permanent damage. It is, but I mean, it doesn't impair function. It doesn't, it's just kind of, it's not as big a deal as knocking the kid out. I don't have to say that to most of you, but maybe some of you need to hear that. But anyway, so punishment can be good, okay? Violence can be good, sorry. Punishment's always good. Because if you're punishing someone, you have to have their best interests, in mind when you're punishing them. If you don't, then that's not really punishment. Okay, if you're like just some jackass who happens to have authority, like you're a policeman, and you just like go around messing with kids, getting them to react to you, and then kicking their ass like that. There's nothing good about that. That's not punishment. That's violence. Okay, so if you have good intentions, it's okay. As long as it's within those boundaries. All right, like I said before, it's pretty obvious what the boundaries are. Permanent damage is never okay. That's kind of why murder is never good. You're killing somebody and you're not trying to help them out. You're just killing them for selfish reasons. Killing people isn't always evil, but it's never good. See, that's the crazy thing, because it's like, in war, or like if someone is attacking your wife or something, you know, or attacking your grandma, or attacking your little brother, or your father or something, you know, and is going to kill them, and you kill them, I mean, it's not like you're evil for doing that, because, I mean, it's self-defense, defense of your family, but at the same time, it's not good, you see, so killing people is never good, but, you know, there's certain circumstances where it's kind of like, well, I have to, you know, but it's not good to do that. You don't want to kill the guy. It'd be better if you could just knock him out, than take his life, so, yeah, so anyway, so violence, what is violence, alright, because it seems like if violence is just hurting people physically, sometimes it can be okay, sometimes it's wrong. It depends on the situation. That's not true. Not because sometimes you can hurt someone and it's okay, but because violence is not just hurting someone physically. Because, I mean, getting hurt and feeling pain can be good, right? Like, what you feel can be good, depending on what the circumstances are and why, alright? Like, why does it hurt? Is it because you lifted yesterday? If you just lifted, if you just worked out, that's good pain, you know? So what you feel isn't like the end-all feel. It's like a weak indicator. It reflects something else. So what's that something else? Well, it's the reason. It's the cause. Why did it happen? Well, it happened because of this or that. So you look at the cause and you find out whether the violence is violence or not. Because there are two definitions here. The definition that I'm talking about, that's the right one, is not just when you get hurt. Okay, the second definition is when you just get hurt physically, when you get like a bruise, you know, that's violence or something. That's kind of like what most people think of when they think of violence. It's like anything where you're hitting someone else. But it's real violence. First of all, your intention's not good. So if your intention is not good, or if it's not there, because you can do something violent without meaning to, you can run some kid over because you didn't mean to run him over, but you weren't looking. So it's still your fault, but at the same time, you didn't mean to hurt the kid. So because of that example and things like that, violence is just, you didn't want to do something good. You didn't want to do something bad necessarily, but you didn't want to do something good. Because if you want to do something good, and you saw the kid walking across the street, you're not going to run them over. There's no situation where hitting a kid with a car is going to be good. It's not going to make them a better person. There are better ways to teach that. So, anyway, so violence can be only when you